so comfortable.
You should be
You just need to shake him.
You should be in prison. We build you out. We build you out to come and play this season. You're out here disgracing us. You should be in prison. You should be facing charges.
Hello, and welcome to the second ever episode of United We Ball, brought to you by the Final Third. I'm your host today, Banks, and I'm joined by my two very special guests, Red United TV and Usman Talks United. Boys, how are we feeling tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Could always be better, boys. I'm sure we'll get into that at some point. But look, end of the day, look, there's no heartache this weekend because there's no games, so happy days.
I'm all right too, man. Even though we've had a shit weekend, we dropped 2 points. We almost got out the Champions League situation. But yeah, it is what it is. We just have to be cheerful, man. Hopefully, we're in an international break. We can take a little break from Manchester United, and just focus on getting ourselves better. I know every international break.
It's always mad when it's the early kickoff and we fuck up.
I hate it, man. I absolutely hate it.
Ruins my weekend. Absolutely ruins it. Because how are you messing up the very first game of the weekend? And now I've got to see everybody. Now I've got to see Chelsea win. I've got to see Liverpool and City put on that sort of performance. And I'm looking back at my team like, you really gave me that at home to Everton. We'll get into it, but boy, early kickoffs can really do one. There's only one place to start, really. Let's start the game of the weekend. Everton came to Old Trafford depleted, missing the likes of Calvert-Lewin, Seamus Coleman, Richarlison, all from their first team. But they still left the theatre of dreams with a point after a 1-1 draw. I want to talk about the lineup first of all. Ole made a couple of big decisions in terms of the lineup. Left out Ronaldo, left out Sancho after he claimed he was electrifying during the Villarreal game during midweek. He brought in Martial for his second start of the season. What do we make of some of the decisions Ole made in terms of the lineup? I'll go to Usman first.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with all the changes. I just want to start with the Ronaldo one firstly because I actually agreed with that change. I know that's not a popular opinion. I know there's a clip of Sir Alex Ferguson saying, start your best players. I'm sure a lot of people will use that to beat Ole with. But for me personally, I agreed with that. I think Ronaldo was warranting the rest. And I think it's integral that Ole does rotate the team. If you look at the team that did start, they're more than capable of winning that game. I think we need to understand that as well. I don't think we can be overly critical with the front line being rotated because Greenwood, Cavani and Martial for me is still capable of doing the job. Where I was fuming, and I'm sure most of us will agree, was the fact that Matic did not start and Donny didn't start. I mean, for me personally, right, a lot of people saying Fred and McTominay didn't play in the Champions League game, so they're going to start. I think McTominay did actually, but Fred didn't play, so he was guaranteed a start for this week. No one is guaranteed a start for Manchester United Football Club. I don't understand how Fred started that game on the weekend, and I don't understand how McTominay started. At the end of the day, Matic shouldn't start in the Champions League. Why have we kept Matic in the team? I got told Matic was going to play one game a week, so if he's not playing the Champions League game, he better be starting the league game. It's as simple as that. I mean, he's got Matic on the bench, who's an actual DM against a team that we knew were going to park the bus because, as you said, depleted team. So it didn't make any sense. It made absolutely no sense. They've got physical presence in Rondon as well. Potentially, if you really wanted to mark him out the game, you put Match in front of him and you put centre back behind him, and he's completely marked out the game. They had, obviously, Demarai Gray was a major threat. But it just tactically didn't make sense for McTominay and Fred to start in a game that we all knew as fans that we would control the game, i.e. the large percent of possession. So Ole got that wrong. Regarding the Ronaldo thing, I'm not going to be too mad about it because, look, end of the day, Cavani is a top quality striker. So it is what it is. Of course, Martial scored. So, yeah, I think the McFred one is the reason I was fuming with the selection, to be honest.
Vorian, what did you think of the rotation Ole put out on Saturday?
You know what? Yeah, we've sat here and criticized Ole for not rotating, but when he does rotate, it's a bit peaking it because he missed out Ronaldo. I don't the Ronaldo thing because Osman said he doesn't mind the Ronaldo thing, but we needed to win. We're going into an international break. Like, why are you resting Ronaldo for the sake of Portugal, for the beneficial of Portugal?
Yeah,
you only do that. They're playing Qatar. Like, he's probably going to rest that game, but then again, knowing Ronaldo, he wants to play and continue extending that record he has. The only thing that I could be upset about, because the front three, like Usman said, that can win you a game. It doesn't matter who plays up front, you know. We're in that situation where it doesn't matter if we got Sancho, Greenwood, or Rashford up front. We expect fireworks, you know. We're good. We're strong in that department. The only place where we thought, surely not again, not this week, Ollie, not this game. Are you going to play McFred? Like, we was all dying out to see Van de Beek play and Matic. Van de Beek, obviously, I wasn't really dying out because I saw what he did against Villarreal and I was with him as well. I was just, like I said before, Osman, I was more pissed off that gum didn't hit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's hair. I'm pissed off that he missed.
I thought it was going to lick him. I can't lie. I thought it was going to lick him.
I just wanted to fall in his hair so he can have a piss day and go and get a new haircut. But yeah, with that, I was more upset. And rotation, right? I was asking myself, wait a minute, didn't Luke Shaw come back from injury? Why didn't you just give Telles the run? You know, why don't you just do that? You know, yes, that we knew that Wan-Bissaka will come in, but Shaw himself hasn't been having the greatest run of games. So why don't you just let Telles play? He just scored a goal, his first goal. He's probably running on momentum and confidence. Why didn't you just let him play? The McFred again, back to McFred. That's the only thing that upset me during the starting lineup when we saw that go ahead before the match kicked off, man. I wasn't happy. I just wasn't happy with McFred. The rest is fine. You drop Sancho, yeah, cool. But one thing I don't understand is that it makes no sense how you've been courting someone for 2 years, chasing them, all that stuff, saying that you really want them, and yeah, they're not really getting that much game time. Yeah, people can say he's trying to embed him slowly because obviously he's never really played in the Premier League, so he needs to understand the rhythm and etc. But still, play him. He's 75 million. You play your 75 million. But yeah.
I hear you guys with the Ronaldo in terms of Ronaldo because at the end of the day he is 36 and we can't expect him to play every game. But just coming off on the back of an international break, the last game before an international break, I can't imagine he's mad tired. I can't imagine he's mad tired, especially after scoring the winner against Villarreal. I can't imagine that he would have wanted to rest. Again, Cavani is a top quality replacement, but I would have stuck him in there for that game. We get to that midfield again. I don't know what Donny has to do to get a start, to get even a look in.
He has to leave the club, innit, by the looks of it, to start.
That's it. People talk about McTominay and Fred and talk about the energy and the combativeness that they bring to the midfield, and I'm literally
that's the manager that reflects on the energy and the desire and the passion. No one else does.
You don't. McTominay and Fred have stands, you know. McTominay and Fred have people that
Fred's got a lot of stands, you know. I don't know about McTominay.
It genuinely baffles me. But there's people that genuinely think Fred and McTominay bring things to the side that none of our other midfielders bring. And that's what baffles me the most, because you see Fred and McTominay, how limited they are, and yet still you back them, still you believe that none of our other I've got people saying Pogba can't play in midfield ahead of McTominay and Fred. And I'm just like, at that point, like, you can't save these people. You can't save people that think McTominay and Fred are better options in our midfield than the likes of Pogba, Van der Beek. Like, to even give them a game. Again, Usman said, like, we're going to control most of the ball. We need guys that are going to be progressive with the ball. And apart from maybe the first 7-8 minutes, they were all right in that sense. But apart from that, they showed nothing on the ball. They weren't trying to get into the striker's feet quickly. You see McTominay and Fred, their big problem is always hiding on the ball.
Yeah.
Whenever the centre-backs need someone to receive the ball in the field, where are they?
But this is the thing with Oli, though. Like, obviously, as you've just said there, in terms of the midfield, you know, as we've quite clearly pointed out, we knew we were going to dominate the ball against Everton. As a manager of Manchester United Football Club, why is Oli not tactically aware of such a basic understanding of the game? I mean, it doesn't take a genius to work out that you need two ball-playing midfielders in a game where you're going to control. So, like, for me personally, Oli doesn't want to be successful at Manchester United. He's achieved what he wanted to achieve, which was, you know, get the call and get the initials on the jumper and whatnot. Because for me, how can you continuously make the same mistake over and over again? I mean, It
He's
just
so
blows my mind
terrified
how
of
you can be
losing.
that.
That's his problem. He's so terrified of losing. He'd rather
No,
play.
but the thing is, it's like, how can you consistently make the same stupid mistake? It doesn't even make sense anymore. Like, I'm someone that gives people the benefit of doubt. Maybe once, twice, 3 times max. I mean, as J. Cole said, a fool on you if you do it more than 3 times. Like, what is going on? Man's like done it like 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and he's looking for a different result. Like, it blows my mind. Like, at the end of the day, they can't control the game. It's not their fault they're playing. I think they're getting a lot of slack for Oli, because I think if you actually look at Scott and Fred in the big games, they've actually done really well, like the Man Cities, the PSGs,
And the
games
where we
where
don't have a lot of
games
ball.
where we're trying to counter-attack. They're actually good and useful squad players. But now, because of what Ollie's put them in a scenario that they're not flourishing, and what I say is you've got to put your players in a position that they're going to flourish. For example, Dan James is a perfect example of this. Ollie, for whatever reason, used to play him against teams that part the buzz, and then not play him against teams that are open. I just like just use your head, bro. You're literally setting up a guy to fail, and Ollie is setting up McTominay and Fred to fail. And people will say, if you're playing for Manchester United, you should be good at X, Y, and Z. Well, it's quite evident that they're not good at X, Y, and Z. So stop playing them. You got Pogba on the bench. You got Matic on the bench. A double pivot of them two would have quite comfortably won us the game. We would have slapped them 3-4-0. Everton were literally lying down, asking us not to kill them, basically. I mean, they just wanted they were looking for a 0-0 draw. Like, they didn't care about scoring. They got one off a fantastic counter-attack, but they didn't try to come and try and play. It was our own game. So for me personally, he played into Everton's hands, and he's played into so many other managers' hands by making the same mistake, and he'll continue to make the same mistake because all he cares about is desire and passion and playing for the badge and kissing the badge and the rest of that. Bro, I don't care about none of that shit. I want to win trophies. Play your best players, as Sir Axberg said. Could be play your best players and win the game in the first half. Then you can piss about and do what you want to do. But you know, first half 0-0 again, standard thing. I'm sure most of us could have called that as soon as we see McFred starting. It's just a standard procedure at Manchester United at the moment.
There was one moment in the first half where Gray skipped past McTominay and Fred in midfield, and that's just the moment when I gave up believing that we were going to do something in that match when I saw how easily he got past our defensive midfielders. Our midfielders who were supposed to be protecting our back line literally skipped past both of them just like that. And that was basically a preview of what was going to happen for the equalizer. One thing I do want to speak about that happened in the first half, Martial, his second start of the season, scored his first goal for Manchester United in 8 months.
Wow.
Going forward at Ivorian, what do you think a goal for Martial on Saturday is going to do for him? Possibly looking into the lineup, confidence. What do you think it's going to do for him?
Of course, a goal will probably definitely boost up his confidence for the next match. But Martial himself is kind of far behind where he needs to be fitness-wise. As you saw, for himself, he knew he didn't have his best game. In terms of contributing to the team,
I feel like he was decent on Saturday.
He was decent, but you felt like Martial could have done way more than what he usually does, especially getting involved in the game as well. Defensively as well, he wasn't there. You know, I understand it's been so long since he's been playing, and he's probably lacking that match fitness. But what that goal does for him in the future right now, it will give him confidence. But my problem is, I feel like he's probably third or fourth choice. So regardless whether he got that goal, did it impress Ollie? Because Ollie doesn't know what's good for him. He doesn't know what's a good thing. He doesn't know what a good thing is because he ignores Van der Beek. Van der Beek's a good thing, you know. So I feel for him as well, Van der Beek. But back to Martial. Martial right now, it depends. Even if he does well over the next international break and scores goals, I still see him coming back to Manchester United and sitting on the bench because, again, our manager, for some reason, doesn't know when to play a player when they're in form. He only knows when to play a player when they're out of form, so he can try and bring that form back to them when it clearly doesn't work. So, yeah, that's what I've got to say about Martial. It will give him confidence, but again, it doesn't mean that he'll be a starter for the next game. In the next game, he'll probably start in the league. Sorry, I said the League Cup. We got knocked out of that. The FA
Cup. Being knocked out of that, bro. Being knocked out of that.
Violation, that one.
Usman, do you still have stocks in Martial?
Yeah, I think regarding Martial, I think his celebration, you know, it just painted the whole picture for me quite clearly. I mean,
Relief.
The weight of the world on this guy's shoulders, man. You can see it as soon as I hit the back of the net, bro. Like, you see passion, and that was just relief, man, more than anything. Of course, it's passion as well, of course, but the relief, you could see it oozing from him, and you could see Bruno as well. Bruno's celebration as well. Like, you just knew, like, they're knowing it, they're boys in it. Bruno, Martial had that link up prior, when Bruno first came in and etc. But on a personal level for him, as our audience just said, of course it's a confidence booster. I hope he takes it through to the France national team. He tends to do okay then in terms of his performances. I mean, you've seen his link up with Benzema and Griezmann in particular. It's been fantastic. So hopefully he can build on it with performances. I'm not one for stats. I mean, a lot of people will say Sancho didn't play well or Sancho's flopping, but Sancho's performance on the weekend was absolutely top-notch. Didn't get a goal.
I'm not the only one that thinks that. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks that. Because
I thought
he played well. People are looking at me crazy.
I also think the same thing.
Yeah, his goals and assists, obviously he's not got goal and assist, but the point I'm making is with Martial, I couldn't give two shits about goals and assists for the guy. I know a lot of other people will, but I want his performances to be there because he's a confidence player. When he's got that swagger about him, the guy's unplayable on his day. So yeah, for me personally, it's just about momentum for him. It's, he needed that goal, as we know, as his emotions quite evidently shown. But Ollie has to play him. That I'd be absolutely perplexed. I mean, actually, let me take that back. I won't be shocked, but at the same time, he's got to play him at the end of the day. As he said, he scored a goal. This is what he's needed desperately. If he now puts him back on the bench after he scored, I mean, I can't see who starts over him. Like, Sancho should be on the right wing anyway. So Rashford's obviously going to come back to left wing, but give Martial the start. Let Rashford get his way back into it. It just makes sense. Greenwood, for me, hasn't really set the world alight of late. And he's a young lad anyway, so I don't think it'd knock him too much if he was to be put on the bench. I just think he needs to be a bit smarter with the players, as Alvarin just said. Like, he needs to know when to play the players. Like Lingard as well. I was really surprised Lingard didn't come on. He's practically had an impact on every single game he's played, if I'm not mistaken. The Newcastle game, the Hammers game, the Villarreal game. He's had a goal contribution, or he's impacted in a positive manner. He's had an impact somehow in it. If it's not goal contribution, it's creating space with his movement, etc. And he didn't get looking, which really surprised me. But coming back to Martial, he needs to just play him now, because at the end of the day, if he does well for France, has a couple of solid performances, he needs to be coming into the Man United team and starting, because that's the only way we're going to actually have a successful season. Because when these guys are flourishing, we need all of them to be chipping in to really do well. We can't just rely on the likes of Rashford. And then the thing with Ollie is that really frustrating me is he brings players out. He brings players in from the cold a lot. Like Tellez, for example, he won't play for 9 months. Then all of a sudden, Luke Shaw's injured, Tellez, you got to play. Like, he does that. He needs to bed players in, because obviously they're not going to be match sharp at all. And then obviously they're going to drop stinkers like Delors, who had an absolute mare against Villarreal. So yeah, he needs to make sure that they're fresh, and in particular the wing. He needs to keep rotating the players when they're keeping them sort of fresh and on their toes. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. He'd probably be on the bench or some shit. It's probably going to be, I don't even know, man. Rashford probably starts him out. God knows.
Only thing I disagree with, I'd probably say Greenwood's been our best player. One of our best
this season, yeah, Greenwood has, yeah.
I think it'll be hard for him to. I think it'll be hard for him to drop Greenwood at the moment, especially you see what he did to help create Martial's goal. Nobody in terms of our attackers, very few of them are punching it in into the forwards in order to get them into that position. His playmaking this season, Greenwood, has been probably one of his best aspects. We all know he can hit the ball. We all know he can put in corners, but it's been his playmaking, his passing, his incisive. That's what's really impressed me so far. Shemi's asked the question, Usman, what is a successful season for Arsenal? Not for Manchester United.
I mean, well, Ollie's not going to have one, basically. It's a long story short. For me personally, we have to win the league or the Champions League. It's as simple as that. For it to really be deemed, to use the word successful, a good season would be an FA Cup and the top 4. I'm not deeming that as a success, although people will, because he's got a trophy. Listen, we haven't signed Cristiano Ronaldo to win the FA Cup, to cut a long story short. We haven't got Pogba, Bruno, Cavani, man's like that on the bench to win an FA Cup. So for me, Premier League title or Champions League, without a shadow of a doubt, is a successful season. Anything under With the trophy is a good season. If you don't win a trophy, then I mean that for me is an absolute failure. We're not Arsenal Football Club. We're not here trying to play for top 4 trophies. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even play for top 4 trophies anymore. They're looking for top 6. But obviously that's a different debate. So yeah, for me personally, win a trophy. It has to be a big trophy. Apart from that, it's just standard Man United and no ambition.
Make sure, guys, if you're locked in right now, subscribing to the Final Third YouTube channel.
Yes.
Hit the subscribe button just under there. Another person that made their first start of the season was Cavani. What did we think of his performance? He came off. It looked like a pre-planned substitution around the 55-minute mark. What did you think of his performance on Saturday?
Cavani did well. You know, he was lively. He was getting himself involved, stuck in occupying Yerry Mina and Michael Keane. I thought he done wonderfully well, and I thought he could have done more. And I'm quite shocked that he came off so damn early to bring on Ronaldo, which I thought maybe keep him on with Ronaldo there can actually allow us to actually get some more goals. Because when Ronaldo came on, of course, Ronaldo didn't make the hard yard runs, not like we want him to, because he's allowed to just doesn't have to get back or help defensively. He won that. He's entitled to do that, to not have to defend. But yeah, when he came on, where we saw the problem was that, of course, up top we couldn't attack Yerry Mina and also Michael Keane in terms of pace. We couldn't do much. But in general, Manchester United didn't really create chances, especially when Ronaldo came on. Even when Sancho came on as well and Paul Pogba, we didn't really see that much of Manchester United being a threat towards Jaden Pickford. Jaden Pickford didn't even get his arm sleeves dirty. And I'm upset with that because most of the times I watch Manchester United, the keeper has a good time.
Yeah.
That all the opposition keepers have a good time. They don't. Usually, I'm used to the opposition keeper being man of the match because he had to do so much saves. But yeah, man, I thought Cavani's done exceptionally well.
Man of the match because he's the one that's putting us out of the dirt nowadays. More
that's post Fergie, but during Fergie time,
Fergie's the here that's been winning these man of the match.
During Fergie time, the goalkeeper used to be man of the match.
Hey, I just gotta say, I slandered David De Gea pretty much all last season. I wanted him
as well.
Disgusting. So now should have been there for him.
So now, and I can't lie, I wanted him out of the club because the mistakes he was making, it was getting too much. It was literally getting too much. But I have to hold my hands up. The way he's redeemed himself this season, I can't say anything, but I'm happy to see the old De Gea back. And long may it continue because this is the De Gea that we saw during our gutter years after Fergie. Like literally one of the best keepers in the world, probably the best keepers I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. That's the De Gea I saw post Fergie. But he lost that during the last couple of seasons. But the way he's been saving us this season, I've got to hold my hands up and say I'm happy to see that De Gea back.
Yeah, no, I was about to say I was another person that was like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, what I said was sell De Gea and buy Donnarumma get Donnarumma on a free. That's what I said. I mean, I probably stand by that. I'm not gonna lie, just for longevity. But as you said, there, man, nothing better to see David De Gea prove as wrong. I absolutely love the guy. You know, he saved us from relegation 3 seasons on the bounce. So he's a club legend in my eyes as well as we've been playing championship. So you know, fair play to him. He's been absolutely phenomenal this season. He's been arguably one of our best players, I'd say. He stepped up on so many occasions. The Wolves game, I mean, people forget his double save. I mean, that second save of Saiss, he had absolutely no right to save that. Obviously, the penalty save. He's just been absolutely phenomenal, man. But just to come back to Cavani, as you asked earlier, the Cavani thing's a bit frustrating. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of people aren't happy with Cristiano Ronaldo, people that I respect within the community, saying that Cristiano Ronaldo is a massive problem for Manchester United Football Club at the moment, mainly because of his lack of movement, his lack of intensity, his pressing, etc. For me personally, Ryan, this is what I would say is Cavani is an exemplary player in terms of his intensity, his movement, his tenacity, you know, his ability off the ball. I mean, his IQ in terms of his movement is world class. It really is world class, and he's not getting any chances. He got one chance, which I personally thought he should have scored, but obviously it is what it is. Got the header of Fred right hand. I mean, he was probably surprised Fred could deliver it, let alone with his right foot, so probably didn't know what was going on. But the point being is, if Cavani, with all his IQ, is struggling to muster up any opportunities, you got to look at the bigger picture, because this guy, you can't put another striker in over Cavani and say, oh, X, Y, and Z would make a difference, unless that player is literally scoring individual goals. I can't think of anything else. So for me personally, I just think people need to stop looking at the individual in strike. It could be Martial, it could be Cavani, it could be Rashford, Greenwood, Ronaldo, whoever it may be. The issue is the players around him. Not in terms of ability, but the system. We're not creating enough clear-cut chances for these guys. I mean, if Cavani gets 3 chances, he probably scores 1, if not 2. It's the same for Ronaldo. It's the same for Greenwood. I mean, they're not getting those chances. Greenwood could quite easily hit 20 goals if he actually got chances. And for me personally, you put Cavani in a Man City team, you put Ronaldo in a Man City team. Nobody's complaining about their so-called deficiencies that constantly hear the Man United fan base. And this is what I keep banging on about. People keep telling me Ronaldo's a problem for Man United. You know, he's not running off the ball. The attack's not fluid, etc. Bro, we were shit before Ronaldo came with the attack. There's nothing new. You know, the attacks were shocking. People saying, well, Juventus, the fans are happy to sell him. Juventus are sat in 8th now. Ronaldo's gone. Who to blame now? It's like the Souness and Pogba thing. It's not Ronaldo's fault, mate. Stop blaming Cristiano Ronaldo. The issue is the system. It's very clear. If he was in a Man City team, if he was in a Bayern Munich team, he would have bagged, similar to how Lewandowski used to do, and obviously Aguero at Man City as well. Lewandowski does, should I say, and obviously Aguero at Man City. For me personally, right, we need to build our team like Bayern Munich. Obviously, of course, they're the perfect example anyways. But in general, now that we've got Ronaldo, our team has to be Bayern Munich. Lewandowski is our Ronaldo and equivalent. Lewandowski is not known for his pressing. He's not known for, I mean, obviously he runs about, etc. But he's not known for all those things that are apparently a deficiency in Manchester United at the moment. People will be complaining we've got Lewandowski, my personal opinion, the best striker in the world. So the issue isn't the striker. The issue is the components around it. We need to fix that ASAP before we even get on to Ronaldo. For me, it's just, yeah. And come back to Cavani, he's the same as Ronaldo. They're both suffering. They're not getting any chances. They're feeding off absolute scraps. 1 chance a game merchants. And it's not acceptable, man. People need to open their eyes to the bigger picture. It's not the striker's fault.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, Usman, because you highlighted one thing. You've pointed to the fact that it doesn't matter who we have up front. Yeah, Manchester United strikers have been unable to receive service. We used to average a striker used to average 3 touches in the penalty box, which is disgusting from last season. You can clearly see that the reason why these players are not getting that much opportunity, you can see it's the football, the style of play we play. It's not attacking. It doesn't create a lot of chances. And even though we got Ronaldo scored 6 in 5, but how many chances has he had in front of that goalkeeper? Hardly. He's scoring whatever he can. In these last 2 goals, he took deflections off the goalkeeper. You can clearly see, and then that's why I get upset sometimes with the Martial slander when he plays up front, because it's the same result. And it's so funny that we all said it this time last season. It doesn't matter who we have. It doesn't matter if we have Messi or Ronaldo. We still won't bang goals. And guess what? We went to get Ronaldo, and we're still struggling to score goals.
That's it. That's it.
It's so funny.
Can I just jump on that Joshua's comment just quickly? He was saying that Lewandowski presses. Listen, Lewandowski presses on moderate amount, but he don't press more than Cavani. So point being
he doesn't need to run around crazy.
That's the point, though.
He does not need to run around crazy.
He's got Gnabry and Sane next to him, doing all the dot, and Coleman whenever he's playing, doing all the way. He's got Kimmich and Goretzka behind him, and he's got Muller, whoever else they're playing in the number 10. And they've got a system that supplies the front man. There's a myth, right? Because of the Firminos of the world and the Harry Kanes, that you have to be so involved. This is the same thing that our fans, including myself actually, said about Lukaku. Oh, he's back to goal. He doesn't hold up the ball. But Lukaku went to Inter Milan. They played to his strength. He bagged 30 goals. Chelsea playing to his strength. He's bagging goals. Yes, I know he's going through a bit of a low period. However, he'll bag 20 plus goals. And at the end of the day, if you have to play his strength, and at the moment,
they're there to score. They're there to score.
Exactly. And we've got one of the best number 9s in the world in Ronaldo, and Cavani as a backup, and Greenwood, one of the best youngsters in that position as well. And all of them are barely getting any chances. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me whether Ronaldo presses or not, because that's not the issue. The issue is, as a unit, collectively, all 6 of them, including the CDM, do not play well as a team. They do not sustain attacks well as a team. You think, right, honest to God, right, if you're sat there saying Ronaldo's an issue, please just for 1 second, put the BS, right? Watch Man City. If Ronaldo's in that Man City team, is anyone talking about Ronaldo not pressing? Bro, they're talking about Ronaldo going for the golden boot because this guy would be on about 10 goals already. A striker doesn't have to press. Just because Firmino presses, just because the modern striker presses. Bro, what about Alan Shearer and players like that? They didn't press week in, week out. What does that make them shit players? Like, they obviously did a bit here and there, but they're there to score goals, give them service, and they deliver. It's as simple as that. So
I want to address this point Josh has just made. Joshua said Bayern are a machine. They press cohesively. If one person doesn't carry their weight, you can't press efficiently. Have you watched Manchester United try to press?
Yeah,
bro, it's embarrassing. It's
literally Bruno running down the keeper. The keeper passes it out, breaks through the initial press, and then they're through onto our midfield. You've answered your own question here when you said Bayern.
Thanks. Just to add to this, just to add to what you said, Joshua. Obviously, I don't want you to feel like we're attacking you. I'm just answering your questions. Just to add to this, prior to Ronaldo, there's this myth that Man United played fluid football. No, we didn't. We didn't press from the front. We the movement in behind was a lot of it was down to Cavani. And even you can go back to last season, Cavani did not miss a lot of chances because he didn't get a lot of chances. He had to be very clinical. So for me personally, right, even with Cavani, Ronaldo didn't even play the first half, though. That's the thing. Ronaldo didn't play the first half. Cavani played the first half. And the fluidity in the front line, people are apparently saying it was way better when Cavani was on the pitch. I mean, it may have been, but
it was marginal at best.
It may have been way better in your eyes, but for me personally, as someone who's coached for a long period, I can assure you that there wasn't anything that I saw in the first. I thought, wow, that's amazing coaching. Oh, Ronaldo's coming, he's gonna fuck you up, because it wasn't the case. Like, yeah, for me personally, I think there's a myth that Ronaldo's affected Manchester United negatively.
It's not.
I find it hilarious, to be honest.
I find it amazing if people say that themselves, man. They must, I don't know what they're looking at, man. What are they? Stevie Wonder's cousins or something like that for you to think that Ronaldo's the problem? You must be blind, because you can clearly see that the problem is just the whole setup of the way we play. You know, it's been there for so long, you know.
As a team, we simply can't press. We
don't play as a team. You can clearly see we don't attack as a team. We don't defend as a team. We don't press as a team. You know, we don't move as a team. You know, everything is off the cuff, individual brilliance. Have you heard it before? Individual brilliance as well. And Oli even himself said it as well. Counter attack and individual brilliance is my.
He admitted it. He
admitted it. Yeah.
That's actually a madness.
He even said we're a moments team. And we can't do that. It's not sustainable to be a moment team. I want all action.
But that's not even tactics, though. What the hell does that even mean? A moments team? Even Stoke City ain't a moments team. Like, they've got some philosophy. Like, play the ball up and, try and knock it down and whatnot. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, how does that make sense? We're a moments team.
That's literally just Ole saying I'm putting the best players I can out there, and I'm hoping that they sort it out for me. I'm hoping that Martial, I'm hoping that Sancho, with Ronaldo, Cavani, whoever it is that he chooses to play on the day, can go out there and provide the moment of brilliance for me in order to win the games. Because as we've said, we haven't seen anything over the last 2-3 years that suggests he can put together a team that can do something for him consistently. We always see, like, I think back to the Villarreal match, that Bruno cross for Telles to hit on the volley. Like, even just thinking about the XG of that goal, it must be like 0.05 or something. Like, the XG of that goal is ridiculously low. That's not something you recreate. That's not something you can recreate frequently. That's the way we play. We play on very individualistic. Like, let's try and create something on the fly. Why are we, as one of the biggest football clubs in the world, always having to create something on the fly? Why are we not practicing moves that we can recreate on the pitch? That's the big thing with our football club. Everything's on the fly, everything's made up on the spot. Nothing looks trained, nothing looks coached, whether it's attacking or defensively.
Which has been one of my biggest things I've been saying for a very long time. We've all been looking at the coaching system. The coaches, they're not good enough. Why don't we have a style of play? I don't see players being drilled. You know, I come from a very tough background where drilling in football is really important. Repetition is very, very important, especially at top level. You can't go by we're just gonna go because I got fantastic players. I'm just gonna throw them in. No.
Or you
At
just
this
take
level,
the side in training.
you
That's
draw
it.
your players,
That's it.
you draw top players to play in a way where you see what you see on the training ground reflects on the actual match day pitch. And I've been saying it for a very long time. What we see currently is a reflection of what happens on the training ground. And what we see from the training ground is rondo clips. And we still can't keep the ball with rondo clips. Manchester United, what they do is show us rondo clips, but we don't keep the ball. I don't understand.
That's it. You see 1, 2, and then the next pass get cuts out every single time.
Off the pitch. So yeah,
I
very
want to
important.
speak about the goal quickly that we conceded in the second half. Another goal conceded in a counter-attacking situation. I just want to know what our thoughts was. Who gets the blame for that goal? It starts with Fred. We see Varane, Wan-Bissaka.
No, but I want to highlight Shaw because he wasn't there at all. Shaw is also a problem in that goal that we conceded. Yeah, Fred should have knocked him out, done whatever he had to do. But where was Luke Shaw? He was hanging, just sticking up forward and etc., leaving a lot of space because that was his side where he could have actually capitalize and actually recuperate that ball off of Demarai Gray and actually or help Fred defend that situation. Shaw got a part of the blame to take as well. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what you guys think because it can't be all entirely Fred's fault because look at the situation. We come from a set piece and concede. We come from the set piece. We concede from the set piece that we just took and out of nowhere, not for the first time, not for the second time, but for the third time, we concede from a corner straight away.
I'll go Usman next. Who do you think needs to take?
Yeah, look. Firstly, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying it's Luke Shaw's fault, and of course he is definitely culpable as well. There's no denying that. Obviously, this comment said he's the main culprit. He's not the main culprit actually. Fred is 110% the main culprit. I don't care what anyone says. Shaw definitely made a mistake. He made the exact same mistake against Newcastle, which says to me he's not learned. Of course, if you cast your man back to the Newcastle game, Maguire got skinned, standard procedure. Luke Shaw runs across the pitch and tries to cover Maguire. I don't understand why. And then leaves a random 1v2.
Just to interrupt you quickly, that's something with our fullbacks that we all like. I saw last couple seasons, Wan-Bissaka would always come inside in order to try and cover for his centre backs. And now I'm seeing in counter-attacking situations, Luke Shaw coming inside.
I mean, I don't know why he came across, but
I don't get it. I
have seen the goal back a few times. I think in his eyes, he thinks if he doesn't come across, the guy's through on goal. Because if you watch it back, it does look like he could potentially be not through on goal. Obviously, it's quite far out, but it looks like he could be running through on goal, like from where he is. And Shaw thinks obviously with his pace, he got a recovery pace. However, there's too many mistakes in that. It's not just them two. I mean, Fred, for me, what he's done, he's made 3 mistakes in one goal. Like, the first mistake is obviously his touch. Decision making. And the second one, the first one was the touch. Second one, he's got absolutely bullied. And the third mistake is he hasn't taken him down. Like, you watch Fernandinho, Busquets, Casemiro, I mean, all these I know Fred's not DM. These midfielders, right? They have IQ. Take a yellow card, my guy. What is he doing? He's not taking the foul.
Fernandinho's taking him out, and he's probably not even getting a yellow.
He's not. Fernandinho's pulled him down and not got booked. Matic would have pulled him down 110%. Matic does tactical fouls. Luke Shaw, that's actually my biggest gripe with Luke Shaw. I'm not even mad about the fact that he's run across the pitch. I'm pissed off that he didn't do the tactical foul because he was right. He could have quite easily taken him down. No one took any responsibility. The whole unit. There were so many players that fouled. Of course, Fred and Luke Shaw are the main two because they're the closest to the incident. But even when Demarai Gray, who obviously Doucouré, sorry, I actually got this. Doucouré skips past 3 players so easily that none of them are putting a foot in. You know, none of them, like I said, no one's taking him out. No one's taking ownership of the situation. And then there's no way Doucouré should be able to do that and play that ball to Townsend. It wasn't even an easy play. It wasn't an easy play for him to make. He had to skip past 2 people and then cut back on himself and then play across. So fair play to Doucouré. It was absolutely fantastic by him. But there was too many people involved in that attack. I mean, you could really single out each individual if you really wanted to and say they could have done X, Y, and Z. And I think for me personally, as you mentioned earlier, this is the first goal we've conceded on the counter attack. And it is a growing concern because defensively, I thought we'd be quite solid this season, given the players that we've brought in. I mean, we only brought Varane in, but De Gea has found his feet again, and I thought we'd be okay. The irony is that Ollie's got these two guys in front of him that meant to be screening the back four, and we look worse. So what are they doing at the club? So they're meant to be there protecting the back line, and since they've been playing, we look worse. I mean, I know they played previously, but this season they're not doing their job evidently because. I mean, you'd rather have Pogba in there. Like, what difference is McTominay making on defensive bit? Because I've not seen it. Yeah, so they're not screening the back four also.
Pogba, the low-key stinker coming on. Pogba, he didn't look impressive coming on as a sub. I won't lie to you, but just going back to the counter-attacking goal situation. Yeah, somebody has to make the tactical foul just to finish off on that point. I can't believe we've gone from inside the Everton half to the edge of our own box and still nobody's fault. Let's bring him down. Let's get all of our people back and try and defend this in a more organized way. We just have to, like, if you don't win titles if you're not street smart. You don't win the big competitions if you're not street smart. You think about the Real Madrid sides, the Barcelona sides. They're bringing them down. Like they're making that decision.
Oh yeah, 110%.
Snappy. Like you're not getting this close to our box and putting our goalkeeper in danger by letting Townsend through on goal. Like you're coming down. I'll take the yellow and I play the rest of the game a bit more cautiously. Our players just don't have that IQ to make that decision, and that's where we're messing up because it's, as we said, it's not the first time it's happened this season.
No, I agree. I'm agree, man.
A bit of news away from the match that happened last weekend. Mike Phelan has signed or has agreed. I'm not sure if he's signed yet, but he's definitely agreed a new contract to mirror Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that's finishing in 2024. There's news in the grapevine that Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick are also close to agreeing new contracts for the same length. What do we think that means for Ole's tenure? Do you feel like that means he has the backing of the Manchester United hierarchy? Do you think it makes it harder for the United boardroom to sack him if it does get worse? What do you make of his backroom staff getting new deals?
I take no notice of it because I still feel like regardless of what happens, he's still gonna get. If Ole gets sacked, they still will go. It just makes it harder for them to pay them off, of course. But I'm not going to let that dampen my spirit and mood because when I saw it at first, I did react in a way where I was like, "No, this can't be happening. This can't run." But it is what it is, man. It was coming. Ole signed a new contract. It's only fair that his boys also get a new deal.
Everybody eats.
Everybody gotta eat, man. It's the truth, man. But I can't. Don't let that dampen your spirits, guys. Because at the end of the day, if he goes, they all go.
You're saying that with hope, man. You don't know these guys. They'll give it to McKenna to end the season, mate. Don't worry about it. Yeah, look, obviously, as I've already said there, like when the news first broke, I was just like, what is the point? Like, I go to the games for what? Like, these guys are taking a piss, man. Like, look, at the end of the day, of course, they need to sign a contract. It only makes sense. However, if you've got intention of sacking someone, why give them a new contract? Though that's my thing. At the end of the day, as you said, if the results start to go south, they'll still get sacked. But it just doesn't make sense from a business perspective that you're giving people an increase in their wages just to sack them a couple of months down the line. Now, that just doesn't make sense to me why you would even do that. So it does somewhat concern me in that sense. However, I think the next 2 months will do or die for this crop of elitist management and coaches. I mean, the real top upper echelon of coaching. So I'm sure they're going to be on their way to Barcelona or something on the way after this. But yeah, I think they've got 2 months to save the jobs either way, man. They need to pull the finger out and see what they can do in this international break. I mean, if McFred start, then it is what it is, isn't it? We're doomed, lads. We're doomed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I have to agree with you to an extent because the fact that he's given a new contract, we know the Glazers aren't one to spend money on us unnecessarily, and we know that the package, if Ole and his boys get sacked, will be steep. So it kind of tells me that they're definitely going to see out the season with Ole. I don't see him getting sacked mid-season. Yeah, that's why reading like the fact that they've got new contracts midway through the season is telling me that regardless they're gonna stick with Ole until the end of the season at least, which doesn't help us in terms of winning anything this season. But at the end of the day, results will dictate whether Ole stays in the job. If he's not successful this season, I just don't see the leg that he has to stand on in terms of continuing as Manchester United manager. He's been given Ronaldo, who you've marketed, you've told everybody you signed one of the best players in the world. You signed a winger that he was panning after for the last 2 years. You signed Champions League Varane, one of the world's best centre backs. You've got your probably one of the best goalkeepers in form in between the sticks. I mean, Ole doesn't have, in terms of quality, is not the same 2019-2020 team where we were starting Pereira and Dan James and McTominay and Fred. We were still starting McTominay and Fred, fucking up. But Lindelof, like, it's not the same team in terms of quality. Like, we've improved on the quality. You can't use that stick in order to try and help him out in terms of the quality. You've got the team. It's on you now. Results will dictate whether he goes at the end of the season. It's on him. Joshua says low-key probably would have been better for you guys to sell Pogba. Buying no midfielder hurt you. I mean, you might as well have sold Van der Beek because we don't play him anyway. Pogba, if you're not going to play Van der Beek, sell him and then buy a midfielder.
Should have bought Basuma instead, man. It just would have made more sense,
my club don't make good decisions. Basuma would have been a fantastic signing, but we don't make good decisions. Yeah. So there's no way we would have signed him. Nathan says Varane's looking like real Squillaci. I don't know what Varane you're watching because he.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that Varane's been X, Y, and Z. I mean, he made that one mistake against Villarreal, but apart from that, it's been really solid. Like throughout his whole tenure, I'm really surprised that people are criticizing him.
I think people just want to be different because I can't.
Just agendas, isn't it? Obviously, people probably trying to force his Ben White and Varane agenda, man. Just he ain't on the same level, lads. Just to give it up, man.
Demario Gray weighs about 65 kg and barge fed like he's VVD. I'll never forgive
him. You know what? Facts, fully back. Man said go back on the weights from a guy that doesn't do weights himself, Like,
Owen Hargreaves said that. Owen Hargreaves said that Fergie would have dropped Fred for a month after he got weights like that. Because as your job as a DM, you can't lose that battle. He said Fergie would have dropped him for a month, and I believe him.
Sure, I believe him too. Definitely.
Drizzy says we stand a position of losing a lot of players. Martial, Matic, Mata, Donny, Dallo, Tells, Diallo. All of these guys might leave too. I think that's a bit dramatic. Maybe Mata.
No, I actually agree with that.
You agree?
Yeah, because
who do you think would leave?
Maybe not all the players that you mentioned, but I think Martial, Matic, because of Matic's age. So Martial, Matic, obviously Mata, we know is probably going to go. Donny's probably going to go. Pogba runs out of contract, he's going to go. Cavani's definitely going as well. So we are, Delo and Tellers, I don't know about them, and Diallo, but the other ones, I feel like there's definitely a realistic chance that a lot of them can go. Like Cavani, Pogba are definitely going.
Yeah, Cavani,
Pogba's not staying. Cavani's definitely going. Martial, you would imagine he's going as well. He's barely getting a look in. Van der Beek, we know he's going. So that's 5 there automatically. So Matic, depending on what the situation with him is, but yeah, for me personally, man, it's going to be a complete exodus next season, and it's going to be another rebuild process because Ollie's at the wheel. So
I'm putting all my hopes on Galbraith. I'm seeing the comps on the TL, and I'm impressed. I can't lie. There's been a couple Manchester United youngsters that have gone by the wayside, but Galbraith looks serious. So I hope he gets some minutes in the first team next season. Joshua says, I said at the start of the season, United should get Zidane, but the fact that you kept Ole, you might as well give him time. Title challenge minimum, trophy minimum. Question I want to ask you guys is, say by some sort of miracle Ole does go, who do you lot think the next manager of Manchester United should be? In an ideal
I like the likes of Zidane coming in and also Ten Hag coming in. But if Ten Hag does come in, I would like to get his backroom staff as well,
Yeah.
including his CEO, which is Edwin Van der Sar, and his director of football, which is Overmars, I believe. So if he was to get Ten Hag, definitely.
So you're basically saying you want Ajax to come to Man
Yeah,
United?
I want Ajax at Manchester United now. I want footballing people to run the club,
Facts.
not guys who are just bankers and just in it for the money. You get me? But Zidane is one thing that I would love to see, man. Just the name as well, idol. Zidane, the fact that he's also tactically astute. He's someone that's won 3 Champions League in a row. You know, you don't take that for granted and take that lightly. So yeah, he will be ideal. People do say Conte, but I'm a bit unsure about Conte because of his way of playing. But again, he's a good manager. He will probably end up coming here and probably try and win a trophy. You never know. He's got that. What about yours, man?
I mean, Ten Hag, I don't think he's coming. Sorry to burst your bubble there, man. I would love Ten Hag, don't get me wrong, but mid-season, he's at Ajax. You know, they got a strong chance of doing well in the league, as always. They probably do well in Europe as well. I know they've not got to the greatest of starts, but I've always said, well, Nagelsmann was always my number one, but of course, you know, Bayern Munich, a proper well-run team, has got him. I kind of want Luis Enrique. He's my number one. Like, Luis Enrique is my number one. I know a lot of people are starting to say it as well now, which is good to see. I just think he's massively disrespected. I know his time at Roma wasn't fantastic, and I understand that. But he's done well at Spain. But what he did for Barcelona, for me personally, massively underrated. I mean, I know a lot of people do well with that team, but the way he played football, his overall demeanor, his tactical knowledge as well, he could quite easily be a top manager for Manchester United. However, I can't see us going for a manager like that because it's very far away from what we do. You play good football. So we like managers that play pragmatic football by the looks of it. So I don't think we'll get him. We'll probably get Southgate by the looks of it also, which is obviously fantastic news. I'd go Zidane. Luis Enrique would be my number one. I just don't think it's realistic. Zidane is my number 2, and Ten Hag is my number 3. I don't think we can get Ten Hag, and I don't think we get Enrique. So, I mean, I'd be happy with Zidane. Pogba might actually sign a contract. Ronaldo, Varane, chatting to Zidane again. Obviously, they've done a lot at Real Madrid as well. And he'll attract big players as well. So, yeah, for me personally, profile of person, it suits the club, and I think it just makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
Yeah. You said one name there, which maybe a couple of years ago I would have thought, no. But nowadays, Antonio Conte coming to the theatre, I can't lie. I'm warming to it ever so slightly. I know there's the talk, like there's the fact that he doesn't play great football, and he's obviously a very combative person. He knows what he wants when he comes to manage a club, and he knows he's got high expectations in terms of the ball. Like, you need to give me this, and this if you want me to be successful. But when he's given this, and this, he's rarely not successful. That's my thing. And right now, with the team we've got right now, we're very, very close to winning. And the last step that we need is just a good flipping manager.
I think he wins as a league if we get Conte. I'm not going to lie, but I think we'd win the league even if he came in tomorrow. I still think we'd win the league because obviously he did the same thing at Chelsea after Arsenal slapped him. Obviously turned it around, etc. But for me, it's the issue with Conte is the mess that he leaves behind. I mean,
that's it. But at this point,
similar to Jose Mourinho, man, these guys leave the club in complete and utter turmoil. I know Inter Milan has somewhat salvaged that situation, and a lot of theirs was financial. But I just think Conte is very similar to Jose. I mean, it's almost like taking 2 steps back for potential Premier League title. So I don't know. There's no real any longevity there. So that's why I personally would go for Conte. But
Ollie's given us good vibes. Ollie's given us good vibes over the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, I'm saying
that's what you're good for. Right. I'm not here for good vibes. I'm here for success. I'm here for success.
I need to see the.
Oh, you see armpits,
bro.
I need to see.
That's what I need to see.
Conte on the touchline is passionate. That's what we've been missing for a long time as well. There's a lot of pros to him, but I just think the lack of longevity is a massive concern for me, especially with the board that we've got.
Even if Conte gives us 2-3 years, I'll take it if he can bring a Premier League, possibly a Champions League. I'll take it. I'd 100% take.
I mean, I've gotten to the
Thanks.
point
I would love to enjoy football at the same time. You know, I'm tired
yeah, I
of
think
playing
we can
shit
do both,
football.
man. I think we can do both.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Again, Ten Hag could possibly improve at the top level, but again, he'd bring the good football. Zidane,
Van der Beek would be buzzing. Ten Hag walk through the door.
Hey, Van der Beek will be walking into Carrington with the most swagger ever. He'd be bopping right past McTominay and Fred saying, yeah. You're about to see now. You're about to see now.
You guys can't handle this kind of rondo, you know.
You can't keep balling this rondo now.
Legit,
You're going to end up in Doncaster instead of Galbraith. Final point. We've got a couple tough games after the international break. The likes of City, Liverpool, which is so crazy because we got given such a light fixture list to start the season, and the fact that we've messed it up already tells you it tells you what's going to happen. But what do you think? Ole's obviously not going to go before the international break finishes. What do you think needs to change in order to improve some of the results after the international break?
It's just funny because all I can think of is just one thing, you know.
Everyone's got
he
the
said
same
it. He said it.
got the same
What
answer.
needs to change?
Everyone's got the same answer.
Do you know what? Yeah, what needs to change? We just want to see better football. That's all. That's all that needs to change.
You're not seeing it in these next fixtures.
Playing the ball quicker, creating more chances. You know. Because I'm tired of saying, oh, it's the players, you know. I can only say the players for X amount of time until you start realizing it's not the players, because it's the same performance week in and week out, regardless if when you change the players. It's actually the people that train them and whoever runs the shit, whoever is the captain on this ship is the reason why. That's them that you blame at. So, yeah, I just want to see better football. That's what Ole needs to focus on. Focus on your weakness, maybe. That's what needs. You got 2 weeks. Go to school, you know. Go and do a course. You know, I'm not too sure if he actually completed his UEFA Pro license because he ain't got no tactics.
Right.
Just take the 2 weeks and just go on a course, a training course, you know, or spend 2 weeks with
Man won't pass the course, bro. Man won't pass the course, that's why he can't go.
Spend 2 weeks with Pep Guardiola and Klopp and Tuchel and get your notepad and learn some stuff.
Bro, did you see Klopp's post-match interview? I felt like crying, man.
Oh yeah, when you broke down the game.
I felt like crying, man. Ollie's just there smiling. Yeah, we gave it a good go.
Yeah, it was a good job, you know.
Against young boys, you know. Yeah, we gave it a good go. That's football for you.
Guys, you've been flipping wonderful guests. I've loved chopping it up with you on United We Ball. Love chopping it up. I really want you lot to use this opportunity just to shout out your own platforms. Again, if you're inside right now, you need to be following these guys as well. Ivorian, I'll let you go first. Big up your own platform.
Yes, guys. Remember to subscribe to Red United TV. Of course, we're on a road to 3K. Hopefully, we'll get there by hopefully by the end of the year. Hopefully,
Amen.
And also follow the official Instagram account with Red United TV 1, and also follow my personal, which is Ivorian_Spice. Same as the Twitter as well, and also Snapchat. But yeah, man, big up to the channel as well. Continue growing, continue doing your thing as well, guys. Subscribe, smash that like button, share across all your social media. Ladies, especially if you're watching, share it to your ex-boyfriend and your current boyfriend and the guy that's been buying you lunch at work every single freaking day because he wants to hit, and you know he'll never hit. Just share it to him as well.
Oh my God!
Listen, big up your platform, please. Big up your platform.
Oh my God! First and foremost, obviously, make sure you slap a like, subscribe here. Obviously, show love to the homies. I'm close. Obviously, I'm hoping to get 1 million subscribers by some point in my lifetime. Yes. No, but jokes aside, obviously, come check me out. Usman Talks United. We don't just talk about Man United, thankfully, because otherwise that'd be long. We do talk about other teams, mainly banter Arsenal. So if you don't like Arsenal, you'll enjoy this channel. So come through. I think the lads are doing the show very shortly as well at 9 o'clock. So they're probably going to be slagging off Ollie. So if you don't like Ollie as well, so come through to that one as well. But yeah, Usman Talks United on Twitter and YouTube. So subscribe, drop a like, all that good stuff. I appreciate any support.
Guys, thank you very much for tuning in to the second ever United We Ball show brought to you by the Final Third. I've had two wonderful guests in Ivorian and Usman. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. Make sure you're smashing the like button. We got more content coming for you from the Final Third this week. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like all of that good stuff. Have a wonderful evening. Have a great night. And have an even better day.
You are now listening to The Final Third.
I think Pepe's so coachable.
Well, you should be
You just need to shake him.
You should be in prison. We build you out. We build you out to come and play this season. You're out here disgracing us. You should be in prison.